Hey, my favorite truth warrior, superhero. Wow, I'm so
Yes,
proud of you. You are not giving it up.
I'm not giving it up. He's not giving it up.
No
This
way.
guy is not giving it up. And I thought, Mel, today we would start off with a video. Let's hope it works because me and my technical skills.
I know.
Here we go.
All about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to, broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but are none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
Ah, that's so great.
Oh no! Last time we started off with MC Hammer. Today we're starting off with Trump. Oh, what have I done? Oh, what happened?
I don't know how to do any of that, but that's awesome. Yeah, I got tears in my eyes for real.
What a week, Mel.
Oh, it was rough. And I'm sure you had the trolls and the demons attacking you too, attacking the messenger. Like, I have never before dealt with that on that level where people were like, you lied to us. Da, da, da. This is the risk we took. This is the risk.
It is, and I have no regret. And that's why I thought that everyone that watches us and our duo has been received really well, Mel. And thank you. You come in with a burst of so much positive energy, and I love it. And we make a really good, a duo.
I know. I love it. Now everyone's calling us Charlie's Angels. I told Charlie he's got to take the whole crew on a cruise on the other side so we can all have celebrate being strong for each other.
We need a worldwide party after, and we're just having it in.
We will have one.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, but this week has been. I think it's been really a testament to our own resolve, and to see how much we can endure, because I haven't had it so bad. I mean, I'm used to having this, so I don't know how you measure bad, but some of the things that I've had have been obnoxious. And it's a bit sad to say that I'm quite used to that, but in comparison to, like, in ratio to what I get that's good, the bad I can deal with.
Right.
What I feel quite sad about is that all of us that are really trying so hard, some people have caved. Some people said, right, I'm done. I can't do this. And I'm like, no. That's why I want to keep these kind of poems and these kind of videos up and still show that, hang on a minute, all this work that we've done over the last 10 months acutely. And Mel, you've been phenomenal. You didn't have your channel out. You just went there, just unconditionally went out there and shared and imparted your knowledge with all of us. And we're also grateful to you because, look, I've always said I know nothing, and I come in very humbly, and I know nothing about, especially like the political system in America. It was all new to me when I started this 10 months ago. So people need to show appreciation to you, especially even watching you on Charlie Ward's channel. You've literally, like myself, took ages to set up your channel. It wasn't about that for you. you. So I really recognize that. And it's one sister to another where we're like, oh my God, we came in for the truth and to impart that. Now, whether we get it all right, whether we get it wrong, that's not the point here. We're not asking everyone to watch us. If you don't feel comfortable with what we're actually trying to discern and say, then there's a choice, isn't there? Like,
yes,
don't watch us.
Right. I mean, even I was very disappointed by some of the people that I thought were really in it for the truth. See, this has never been about Donald Trump. It has always, to me, been about God and country. And if it's about Donald Trump, then you miss the point. Yes, look, I believe that we're in the long game. I think that we are. I have still 100% faith. Well, that's the one thing. And now as this faux impeachment, and you can connect the dots, but there's also, we'll talk about it in a second because it's so much sicker than most people get what happened at the impeachment thing. But the one thing I know that we know for sure is we are just putting out facts, truth, research, what we discern from that entire thing, connecting the dots, but also saying, here's where you can find this, or you can research it too. Or, I recommend certain places to go. There's FBI vault, CIA, there's a million places you can go. There's a lot has been declassed, but it's not being reported. So people don't think it has been because, it's only us saying it. And if you
that's the issue, Mel. That's the real issue, because people are very visual and they're very lazy. They're just very lazy, and we're spoon-fed information. So this really is info wars, a psychological war, and a war on our consciousness. So like you said just now, it's a battle of good over evil. It's a spiritual war. This is consciousness that's being attacked at every level, and it's still happening. And we've got a way to go, and we have a lot to learn from this last 2 weeks. All of us included.
Yes.
We should be like on the same side. We're discerning information. We're all for this. That Trump's the good guy. He's saving the children. He's exposing all the corruption, not only in the US. He's exposing it globally. So therefore there is that there should be that appeal that, hang on a minute, this guy is actually a good one. Yeah, let's all work together and let's get rid of the corruption. I mean, look, that's an idealistic world, and I sometimes live in la la land myself, thinking, everybody would have.
It's not a bad thing. Living in a world of positivity and hope, which is, I believe, you and I, our biggest connection is that we try to always make it positive, no matter what it looks like, and because I want people to not give up hope. Because hope is not lost. We have the facts and we have the truth on our side. The crimes are what they are. They can't change the evidence. The evidence is there. They have everything. What we are watching is something that's unprecedented. America's 300 years old. This isn't like the rest of the world. This was a great experiment, and it was hijacked by really evil people. And I believe their days are numbered. What I saw in DC, I still say, is the occupation of the District of Columbia. Yeah. And I don't think it's at all what it seems. I don't believe what we saw the other day is at all legitimate.
You were there, right? You went to CDC the other day.
I did go to DC, and I talked to a lot of National Guard that of course, as soon as Biden came in, they moved them and put them in a garage somewhere, took away like all their necessities. I mean, it's disgusting. But
there was a lot of speculation. Sorry to interject there, Mel. That because you're there, and this is really important because you were there at ground level, and there were a lot of stories floating around that the inauguration had been filmed before anyway, and there were different timings that it happened.
What I can say is the weather wasn't the same.
Yeah,
that's what I know for sure. I also thought, look who's not there. Yeah. Not who is there, who is not there. Are you telling me, listen, the world leaders already know about COVID, that it's not deadly. They all know. Here's the other thing I think people might not put together that haven't really been following the whole picture as it's unraveled, is that America's not alone. Putin, Merkel, Macron, none of these people, Mexico, Brazil, they're not going to let America become a communist country. It is unacceptable. And I've believed all along, I've said it on Charlie, I may be wrong, but I believe Xi and Abe are both double agents, that they're both on the side of because this is why. Everyone's enemy is the same. It is the central bank cabal. Okay. Yep. And Putin has done a lot to get rid of them. Putin now is sitting on more gold than dollars. I believe we are too.
Yep.
But, you know, and as we've seen, people don't really know, the news isn't telling you, but it does look like first the city of London was raided, then the Vatican, and then this past weekend, I believe DC.
Yeah.
So what's going on is, again, it's never been about Trump. It's been about our leaders, our chosen leaders turning on us for greed, blackmail, or whatever else.
Yeah.
But more important, we are currently leaderless. And in America, we have this, all the things he's put in already. If you voted for him and you're not already questioning why, then you really, maybe you're lost forever. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Have a word with yourself.
Oh my God. But you know what they're trying to perpetrate is, it's like if somebody robbed your home and then turned around and said they were sorry, but didn't want to give you your stuff back. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the way it works. There's got to be accountability. And listen, people can say what they want, but I truly believe not only did they prove that there was foreign interference on multiple levels, including from domestic and foreign enemies, but from what I have learned, once Radcliffe gave Trump his report, Trump then gave it to the Pentagon. From that day forward, we were, I believe, under a national emergency because we were under attack from powers foreign and domestic in an insurrection.
Yeah.
Then you
did that happen on the 14th?
Yeah. Yes.
Around the 14th.
And then you lay on top of that the truth about DC, which is known, they've all known the whole time. I mean, that's the worst part about these Congress people and senators, is that they've been perpetrating a fraud on the American people this entire time, and they know it. That's why you see these people in their 40, 50 years, they're just staying there to cover up and cover up. Who wants to work that? Why would Nancy Pelosi and even Chuck Grassley, any of these people want to work into their 80s? Because they're not working, because they're covering up everything that's gone on. And you know, it's very hard for people to believe, but you and I have discussed it. Me and Charlie have discussed it like ad nauseum, that about the Act of 1871 and the infiltration of our world, because the whole world has been under this lie, and that actually the Vatican runs Vatican and City of London and DC they are only loyal to each other. They are not.
Look what's happened at the Vatican, and look at the situation that we're in the UK. So, you know, this is bringing down the 1871 Seditious Act, and just for the liberal intellects that are watching this, and some of my friends do watch it and watch this, Mel, although they don't admit it.
My Hollywood friends don't.
Oh, they must be.
Too scared. I'm going to say something.
Yeah, they do watch, and they just cannot comprehend anything that we're saying. So we're talking about the takedown of the US as a corporation, you know, bringing back, you know, the constitutional reform to the US. And for me, someone who's not politically astute, doesn't know, not great in her history, I knew this much, and it just made sense to me straight away. And I didn't see this coming. One of the things I want to say about the inauguration is that we all kind of got that wrong as well, because Q, or the military, or what's going around on social media, there's been info wars, and there's been a lot of disinformation. And people can kind of getting carried away, with the expectation that something was going to happen at the inauguration, and they were going to be, you know, the first arrest will shock the world. Right. And that's what the Q team was saying. So, I mean, that's where there's been a big disappointment, because that didn't happen, and that was the expectation. But let's think about it and put it in perspective, right? Would we really know what their next moves are going to be? Would we? And I even just sat back and thought, Alpa, you know, I said this in one of my interviews yesterday, and I just thought, we need to put it in perspective, that the intention is there, that, you know, this is all going to happen. And I truly went completely realigned, recalibrated, and I thought, we were pinning our hopes, and this has taught us to manage our expectations.
Right.
And I was
I thought that it was going to go.
So did I.
I really did think that they were going to do this. I did.
Yeah.
And because, listen, we are fighting a global cabal that is 1,000 years old and has a stranglehold on this planet. And they right now still have their media and their brainwashing in effect with probably, I don't know, 30 million people. But I do believe that watching, if you are in America and you voted for him, denying everything on the Hunter Biden laptop, denying all the Chinese stuff, denying.
Where was he, by the way? Where was he, by the way? Sorry,
he was there, and they cheered for him until if they only knew the horrors with the children and stuff on his laptop, but they don't know. That's the thing that we do. Most people do, but if they know, when he walked down the stairs, I almost vomited. They were clapping for him, and I'm thinking, first of all, there's no way that guy's not in jail with what I've seen alone from the laptop, which is far worse than anything that you've seen yet. And number two, the people in the audience were clapping for him. And that's, and to me, everyone looked very, very shiny and at their best, you know what I mean? And then the other thing was, it was not sunny out in DC.
No.
But the worst part for me, because again, you and I are going to be on top ahead of the story when the real news breaks, that this was really Trump getting together with the G20 leaders and discussing the international banking cabal, child trafficking, human trafficking, all of that, and that they had to break it up. They had to stop it. They had to get rid of the Switzerland and overlords. And the CCP really just joined with them. It's not a new group. It's not China. It's this communist regime in China. And what a lot of people don't know is that there's a bloodline in China, the Lees. So they're together. To me, it was just more a matter of the biggest slap in the face. I kept saying to my friend, either Satan thinks he won or we are being told he lost, because it was like an Epstein Island spirit cooking reunion.
Oh, it was awful. I felt sick. It was eerie.
All those people are Epstein Island regulars. All the ones that performed are Epstein Island regulars. We know that. The Epstein stuff is
theatrics. It was pure theatrics.
And to see also, Biden put his hand on an old book with an upside down cross. Yeah. Kamala Harris wouldn't even touch the Bible.
Yeah.
They're all wearing their purple, and they're all.
Did you see her outfit? Now there's this. There was some stuff going around on Instagram and a Simpsons show that this and that.
Right. Yes.
You see this, and then she's wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, Matt Groening knew a lot of this was going to happen. Again, another.
Yeah, how? I want to just
another Epstein Island guy, unfortunately, but right. I don't know how. I don't. But
that blows my mind, because they showed an episode of Simpsons where Trump's inaugurated.
Right. Also,
and then all this other sort of stuff, like, Smithers is the Rothschilds, Nathan Rothschilds, and and even looks like him.
Right.
And then Kamala Harris, the purple outfit that she was wearing, there was an inauguration ceremony or something. I didn't watch the episode, but I saw it on Instagram, and she's wearing the same outfit as Kamala, Lisa is. So these are things that are creepy, and that makes you think that how far does this, we know that this has been planned, and this has been, something that's been a part of the New World Order for years and years and years. So that's no surprise, but this kind of stuff, bringing it into cartoons, even like there was a cartoon about Kobe Bryant's death.
Right. And there was a cartoon
7 years ago.
Right. And there was a lot of cartoons about basically Kevin Spacey, Tom Hanks, all of them on Family Guy.
And Tom Hanks, where was he? What happened to Tom Hanks?
Was he at the event?
Exactly.
I don't know.
No.
None of them.
This is the thing. I think about that. Tom Hanks wasn't there. There's a lot of inconsistencies. The mood of the whole inauguration just seemed really dense. It felt like they were walking into their own funeral because they were wearing the masks.
Right, exactly. How about, who else I took note wasn't there is Oprah. And she would have been there. So, there's just all this, but the fact that there were so many Epstein Island regulars, and I don't mean just visited the island, I mean, were there on the weekends that we know were, for their satanic temple events. Was
J-Lo?
right. We shall
Yeah.
see. We shall see.
See?
But
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
yeah, I know nobody wants any of that. But I have to say, that to me was such a sign. I just said either Satan won or they're on display.
No, I think it's the latter, definitely. I really like to, because there's that hopium that goes off in me. And I'm like, no, Trump will not have worked this hard to
No
let
way.
it go just like this. It does not feel right and it doesn't make sense. I mean,
Right.
our focus
Yeah.
now should be like, of course, we've had a bit of a setback over the last few days, and it has felt like a kick in the teeth.
It has, especially to us. I've been a little upset and kind of vocal about. I feel like General Flynn has to send out a smoke signal or something. Like his silence is, though I think it's probably a good thing that he's actually doing stuff. But in my head and heart, I'm seeing so many people be outed. A bunch of great guys were outed, and really guys that had like 500,000 subscribers on YouTube before pulled, people that I admired and I think are really spot on. And then they had to rebuild and everything. And the New York Post puts out an article outing some of them. And I thought, these are good people that, talk about God. They have children. This has all been about country, and most of them are military. And I'm thinking, okay, now people are having targets put on their back. And the leadership that we thought that we've followed all this time has to see this. So that to me is also a signal that something's brewing. Also, the National Guard is still in DC. so that's another thing. And the one thing I do want to say that might be helpful is that after we deciphered the other night, the markers, I believe I'm right, but we shall see, 11.3, 11.4, 11.6, and 11.11 are really statutes in the Department of Defense law on war, military manual 11, which is about military occupation of a foreign or terrorist situation. And in that, 11.3 says that the military doesn't need to inform the Congress, judiciary, or Senate, or obviously public, when they take power. Number 2, that when triggered, which I believe was triggered when Donald Trump gave the confirmation of the Ratcliffe report, which saying that there was 5 nations and also, I believe, 20 domestic people that were involved. That triggered this, it's called DEFCON, obviously. But then what happens is they can take occupation of a state, territory, or district that is committing an insurrection, and also from a foreign power. That then kicks in that Vatican.
And does the executive order come in now? Right,
exactly. Yeah. So there, the executive order makes it a crime, which means that they can seize the land.
Yeah, and all assets.
Right, exactly. And then on top of that, I believe right now what we're in, everyone should look it up because this is really interesting stuff. And it's the only thing that makes logical sense to me after all we've seen is that we're in this period called continuation of government in America, which actually George W. Bush put in. It was Directive 51, which oddly enough, when Chris Miller took over, who I believe will end up being a major hero in this game, he mentioned it, Directive 51. And so what happens is actually George Bush triggered it after 9/11. He wrote it into law in 2007, I believe. But basically, there's an interim government put in, which is just a bare bones government that keeps it going. And everyone else is no longer in charge anymore. So that's another thing. And then it's just at that point when continuation of government goes, that's when all Senate and government people and the president and everyone go away, and FEMA comes up and takes over. FEMA, in this situation, not only is it a war and an insurrection by a foreign power, but it's also, we've been under this faux emergency thing.
It has. The whole election took place in a national emergency, right?
Right. Yeah? So this makes what they're doing not just
a lot of sense, but
it's now high treason because during wartime, because the war on terror was never ended here. Because for nefarious reasons, they kept the Patriot Act in check, and Trump used it against them, I believe. And he also, one thing people should know is that Trump, because it's wartime, and the emergency. All 50 states asked Trump to call an emergency during COVID. So once he did, that's when Mnuchin was able to finally take over the Fed and open their books for the first time in history. But also, he was able to do many things that he didn't do. Well, he didn't do them on purpose, and the one thing is when we're in continuity of government, Trump had to go. Trump knows that he was the CEO of the corporation. The corporation is defunct.
Yep.
And Trump did win, but he doesn't want to win that job. That's not the job he wanted. No. And that's not the world that we're going to live in. No. And
literally crumbling of every single establishment and system. This is like the resurrection.
Right.
Of the US.
And we've all speculated about 10 days of darkness, but I was thinking yesterday, maybe they're going to listen, none of these things that Joe Biden's signing are being usually when I was in the farming before COVID and I was like trying to do this farm thing and I did a grant application or whatever. Well, the way you find them is you go on the federal registry and then you can look it up or whatever. But the minute that something is triggered, an executive order or a new grant or whatever, it's registered there first.
Yeah.
None of these things he's signing are being registered. Okay.
Little blank paper.
Right, exactly. And I didn't build a parking lot behind the Oval Office. But
at Castle Rock Studios.
Exactly.
This is it. This is theatrics, really. I mean, I just can see it so clearly. It doesn't feel right. The energy doesn't feel right. The timing doesn't seem right. And even the coverage, the BBC coverage. I don't know where you were watching it.
I can't even look at it. And what's so crazy is that all of these reporters know that Biden's in bed with CCP because they are. So
yes, well, this is it. This is it. This is what you try telling the people here in the UK. They think I'm barking mad. I said, look, the stuff that you're actually reading from the BBC, the Guardian, the Telegraph, or the Daily Mail, or whichever papers you're reading, you're actually now complicit. By reading these papers, because they are perpetrators in hiding all the stuff about child sex trafficking. Right. Why haven't you heard about it? Why aren't you questioning that? Why aren't you questioning me that why has Alpa suddenly gone up screaming about all this stuff? Surely that's not her new, pastime, her new hobby. She barely put anything on Facebook, and now she's screaming about Donald Trump and kids. But no, your pig-headedness and arrogance and your indoctrination is leading you to believe that the media is right. And look how powerful they are, Mel. They are so powerful.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
my heart broke. I saw some friends a long time ago. When I left LA, I ran from the devil. Seriously,
good for you.
I really did. I put all my shit in the car and was like, I'm going to Palm Beach. I'll figure it out from there. I'd seen too much and I had to get out of there. I just had to. But, I didn't really, you give me the courage actually to start posting online again.
Oh, thank you.
Because I stopped a long time ago. I don't know if you know my story. I was working on SNL and Kanye came and I had known him in LA and everything. And he wore his MAGA hat, which took a lot of balls. He was doing Lorne Michaels a favor. Okay.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande, who's one of them, she dropped out at last minute. Kanye said he'd come do the show if he could do it his way and make a speech at the end.
Yeah.
So during rehearsal, all went well. He made his speech. It wasn't about Donald Trump. It was about freeing yourself from slavery.
Yeah.
And he meant debt slavery, like we know. He knew a lot. He knows all about it, believe me, more than he wishes. And then when the show ran live, they cut
him. Yes, I heard this.
And he was so pissed. I was so pissed. And then when he was leaving, I was like, fuck it. I'll just say hi and take a picture with him because I wanted a picture of him with the MAGA hat. And that was my last day working there. But I never regretted it because I have to tell you, they're doing it to him. And that's when I saw.
Yeah, he's probably MK right? Was.
But maybe his speech could have helped people, maybe it could
but they don't want anyone to know anything. This is the deceit and deception. So agreements are made, but they're not necessarily honored.
No.
And that's the whole thing. This is the devil. The devil works in this deceptive ways. And this is the people. How many people have you met in your journey, Mel, especially in the media fraternity, where you've been promised something and you're led to believe that, you know, oh my God, this is going to happen, and you're going to do things authentically and organically. Story of my life, Mel.
As time goes on, I have so much, because, you know, also I have a lot of opinions on the Me Too. My Me Too incident is very different than what people hear, but, you know, that's not my priority right now. And but
I'm sure you've got loads of stories there.
I believe that there's a lot more of me than there will ever be of them, because the ones who ended up getting Oscars and Emmys played the game, okay? And they played it hard, because the women in Hollywood, as I've said a million times, are just as guilty as the men. There's no difference. It's all one cult, the cabal. And
it makes so much sense now.
It takes so much distance to really see the truth. And it's always the same usual suspects, but they're the ones that the brainwashed MK Ultra media people think are, you know, they're told who are celebrities, who are movie stars, who are important. They're told it's all a thing. It's not about anything other than that they're towing the line for the cabal, for and that's it. And but yeah, I mean, one thing that I think is really worth noting is when they attack QAnon, first of all, there is no QAnon. There is a board. So when they say the QAnon cult, you might as well say the Facebook cult. What's the difference? There's no difference.
You won't believe it today. I had somebody emerged from the woodworks that I haven't spoken to in a long time, and we haven't kind of parted on the best of terms. And just after about 6 months of not speaking, I knew this person would contact me on the back of the alleged inauguration of Biden and Trump's defeat. And it said, so would you like to shed a bit more light on the theories of QAnon?
Oh God,
now, take it away.
But there are no theories of QAnon.
I know.
It's
a crazy cult, Mel.
I know. Cult. Where do they meet? I'd like to go hang out with them, because I didn't know that they met anywhere.
I know.
It's so stupid. I swear, it's like calling everyone that's on Facebook a cult. That's it. And the truth is, it really, for me, it got very little to do with what I think. I just researched this stuff and put together dots. I never, like Charlie always says, we both have been saying it for a year. Like, there's no, like, who cares about the dates? And at this point, we don't even need the board. We have the evidence. We know what's true. We know the election was stolen. We know that DC is a corrupt foreign power that has stolen all our money all these years. We know that Bill Gates and his friends want to depopulate the planet. And, and do you see yesterday, Biden put back in Fauci and is refunding World Health Organization.
Yep.
And, all of that. He's
100 days of wearing the mask.
Right. So yeah, taking down the border wall, giving 20 million illegals citizenship, while we're in a mass unemployment phase. Like, who's paying for that? I mean, he's trying to, this is what the goal was. The goal was that he come in and he decimate us so much that we beg the UN to come in and cede our sovereignty to them. And that's what he's doing. He's doing the final stranglehold. Of course, I don't believe that that's really him, but whatever he is.
Of course it's not. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, any person can see that's not him.
Right.
And this again, I think it's just all psyop optics.
Yeah.
Just it has to play out this way, because it's all about showing people and exposing them.
Yeah, so one thing I do that does bother me, and I think you feel the same about this, is the tremendous toll. I feel like I'm going to cry that this is taken on people's mental health, and emotional health and spiritual health. And the hardest part is these people that are perpetrating this this phony presidency. I have good friends that have kids that I like. I mean, they're not the smartest people, but they were putting up things, how excited they were about Biden and thank God and all this. And I'm thinking, and in my heart, I'm just like, God, this girl's going to be so devastated when she learns the truth. The truth is not going to be hidden. Too many people know. That's why they're censoring us. And it's not about the election fraud is the least of the problems that they've committed. And, I just think it's been a hard toll. I hadn't been depressed.
Definitely.
I have a history of depression and all kinds of stuff. And I hadn't been depressed in so long until 2 days ago. And I was more depressed because I think I felt so sad for the people. I understand that this is a military operation and that it's not up to us, but I do implore the people that are behind the scenes, because I believe we are right, to understand that the psychological destruction, emotional, mental health destruction, not just from the COVID and the lockdowns, but from
psychological warfare, sweetheart.
Yeah,
this psychological war. This has been an attack on our consciousness,
right?
A psychological war on our minds,
right?
Our mental state, just our relationships is sabotaged so much,
right?
And the post-traumatic stress after this, the aftermath is going to be a big healing. Now, though, I was saying to a friend, in fact, JC, lovely, I love JC so much. She's like just a sort of a protector in this whole journey, and just leaving her a message, because I same thing, you know, I heart you, Mel. I really heart you, you know, and I can feel that, because you know,
I love you so much. I couldn't wait to see you.
Yeah, and I just thought, wow, because you know, I look up to you and your knowledge, because you're actually the person that we need at a dinner table, you know, with your facts. You know, it's not like me. You and I need to have that, and I'm just going, can you help me out here? Help me out, dates. Who's that person? Because I'm like Dory from Finding Nemo. I don't remember anything. And then I'm just like,
from my dad's a huge historian and has like he's the smartest human you've ever met. My sister's a genius. Like, I come from a world of like, we were, like I tell people, from a very young age, my parents took educating me and my sisters on themselves. What we learned, my mom was a teacher, so obviously, but in terms of culture and books and all of that, we were expected to learn what we weren't taught, you know, and it was, I went all over the world, even as a kid. I was in Israel at 4. So, you know, there's just, again, that's another thing that in the future we'll talk about, which is
definitely, I see something with you now.
Parenting, because the parents have way more power than they've been led to believe they have. And that's coming out too. That's why I think there's a lot of silver linings to the COVID, but I do believe that, you know, when we talk about the mental health thing and the homelessness, that was a big disappointment to me. I've been to DC twice in the last 2 weeks, but I hadn't been there for years. The level of homelessness, where within those walls of the elite, there's so much greed and money laundering, you know, our $700 billion they were about to send overseas. The amount of homelessness in Washington, D.C. is a disgrace. And there's absolutely no reason for it except for that they don't care. And New York City, the same. But D.C., in their ivory tower over there, I don't know how they can have a conscience and go outside. And then also about the mental health aspect of this whole thing. Don't forget that they closed all the mental hospitals on purpose. We have no mental hospital infrastructure. Trump was working on it, even though like all the non-for-profits that say that they're for mental health were against him. No, he's working on a whole different, which he'll be back, a whole different medical care system for mental illness and addiction and everything, because they shouldn't be in the same category as physical illness. They're brain disorders or a mental, emotional, whatever. They're not the same. They're just not. And the insurance that covers one doesn't cover the other. But the sad part is, in my country especially, actually they blame it on Reagan, but it was really H.W. Bush, obviously, because he loves when people are sick and sad and depressed. Them.
Beat the system.
Yeah, but that's when drugs flowed in, like gangbusters. But it's also when they shut down all the mental hospitals to protect the mentally ill. Well,
why did they oppose to the war? Because obviously the trafficking of drugs as well,
and people and children.
People,
you know, we talked about
that was the main thing. But no, he's a racist.
She's a psychiatrist, and she was doing child psychiatrist, and this is horrendous. But while they were saying like that Trump had babies in cages on the border and stuff, that's not what was going on. My sister was doing telehealth from LA with the government, with kids at the border that were trafficked, and they were being taken care of with the best of care and the best of everything. But these kids were so traumatized. I'm talking about 8 years old, 7 years old. My sister would get on the thing with her dog, you know, a cute dog that she uses as a dog with the kids in psychiatry for children. And then it would be like a translator and a psychiatric nurse and like a 7-year-old little girl who was like trafficked 1,000 miles and screams all night long, and they don't know what to do. They're not going to go put these kids in foster care or with relatives they find that they've never known. As the Democrats were saying, these kids aren't okay and they need extra care and extra help, and they're getting it. So as that narrative went on, I was so horrified that it was such a lie. These kids, so many of those kids were trafficked, and not just that, trafficked through, smuggled back, trafficked through again, smuggled back, trafficked through again. And those are the kids that are still there, and they're in excellent care, and they have excellent treatment, and they're not going to get that out of there. They're in the best case scenario they can be in. They're not. So that whole narrative was a lie. And as many other things were.
That just breaks my heart, you know.
Yeah, but don't forget, we're going to see a lot of that. I saw in Ireland, there was a giant bust. Like 9,000 kids were involved in serious satanic ritual stuff that's not going to be able to be denied, you know. And you know about Jimmy Savile, the whole world hid it, you know. And, you know, we know about Epstein Island, and it's coming. And so what I
just pray the children is going to be what brings the world together when we have some public disclosure, Mel.
Right.
I mean, that the mental health side of things, I mean, we have been on this journey for 10 months acutely, you know, in terms of the social media, posts, etc., and all the disclosure on social media and how everything's been, you know, circulating around there.
Right.
However, the general public still think it's all a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, right.
And it's not comprehending it. I mean, the first thing somebody, when this came out, and it's interesting how they come out of the woodworks just to tell you they've been watching you and everything following you. This guy comes out and just says, oh, I'm really sorry that, you know, this whole nonsense and bullshit that you lot have been talking about, satanic rituals and Trump, and nobody's going to come and save the day. No JFK is not alive. No, there's no QQ. It's just an absolute bullshit stuff. I just ripped him apart. And the thing is, everyone on my page ripped him apart. It's like, you have the guts now to come and say it. You've been a mouse all this time. You couldn't actually sort of have the guts to.
Right, that's what happened to me that was most disturbing. These are people that are like, I love you, Mel. You're the best. Suddenly like, you and Charlie are frauds. We should never have listened, you know. And I'm like, well, why would you listen to us? Nobody's making you, you know.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
But it was so ugly, and you know, it's
ugly and obnoxious.
It's their own disappointment. It's their own expectations.
But look, something's really important there on that point. What is that about? And I'll tell you exactly that. We have been under the constructs of the cabal for years and years and years, and this energy that's permeated into our psychological makeup, we have residual debris of cabal constructed programming. The paradigms of the cabal has been disgusting. And even some of the things that we may do have the remnants of that. This is this level of thinking, this low vibrational thinking, this kind of trolling on social media. And I make this very clear, and I do not allow people to do that. You teach people how to treat you. And one of the things that I am I'm all about love, and I'm a little bit go F yourself as well, because I will not let you, you know, speak to my people like this. Or to people that there's somebody said something and trolled someone I knew. I literally annihilated that person because it's unacceptable. I don't need to use profanities to do this. It's just assertive credibility that you say, and manners that, you know, learn how to speak to ladies, learn how to speak to women, because these are constructs of the cabal, and that's bad manners. And this, you've got Nicki Minaj, and then you've got Candace Owen. You know, where's the comparison?
I know. Well, you know what it is. She sold her soul to the devil. But also, like that, like what you're saying, I saw that Lena Dunham, who I think she's total like deep state, like cabal. Like she has her own show. She has her own show on HBO at 23 because she's such a genius, and the whole time it's just like young girls having sex and whatever. She put out during a tweet, even if it's her, because I think she's definitely involved, but she put out a tweet that she how sexy Hunter Biden is, and she wants to be his next wife. And I'm thinking, oh my God,
so cheap, isn't it?
This disgusting. I saw that and I thought, oh, proving it again. You're one of them. You're one of them. And you know, at this point, it's just so it's like you kind of feel sorry for them, because what's coming next you know.
I don't feel sorry for any of them. After what happened this week, and I've been okay. I've been taking abuse from the beginning, so I've become resilient, but I never gave up. So it's a real testament to our own journey and our inner resolve and our resilience. Yeah. And this is the time we've stood up, on social media, and like, this is where we're using the platform to actually address what's really going on and truth. And these platforms are great because with the help of social media, we've been able to, first of all, learn a lot of things. So it has its pros and it has its cons, but it has seeped into our psychological makeup. There's all sorts of mental issues that have happened. And this is what's going to be the next phase of this, the healing that's going to need to be addressed, because we are going on charging ahead. But the other day I felt it, Mel, like you did, like, we all have, we felt it in our souls, because it's like, oh, thank God, because I don't want to be talking about this for the rest of my life. I want to be living life. I want to help on the other side. To healing, doing our show, our own production company, making movies with Mel, the Mel and Alpa show.
No, this is for real. And that's what we're doing this for. I have to say about how blessed I've been to be in the group with you and our whole team. I consider there's like 12 people involved with Charlie and all of us. And if I saw any one of you give up,
he's had it bad. He's had it really bad as well.
I know. I've talked to him this week. But if I saw any one of you give up, it would have broken my heart. And none of us.
I'll cry. I cry publicly. I mean, and I think that's just strength as well. Tears water the earth with love and that great energy. And we're doing it. You see, the two things, when I narrow it all down to in its simplicity, love in action, and what your intentions are. So your intention, which is love in action for me at the moment, like and yourself, and the perspective that you have on everything. Right. And it's like, what lenses are you looking at? And this goes back to how people are reacting now. They're reacting or responding from the lenses that the cabal have constructed for centuries. And this is not going to go away easily. This is 12,000 years of sabotering bloodshed. I mean, we're going to take it back 12,000 years. So we're looking at the last 100 years, Mel, but it doesn't go back there. And this energy, this negative energy, when you break it down in its simplistic form, it's just two brothers that fell out way back 12,000 years ago, years and years and years, and you're going to the Canaanites, the Khazarians, and all of that, and ultimately it's bloody sibling rivalry. When you really break it down, you go back and my truth is better than yours. What's happening now? All of this is just kind of, coming back. So,
yeah. And the hard part is that there's puppet masters at the very top that couldn't care about either side, And that's the thing they have to keep pushing. There is the whole Democrat Republican concept is a psyop. I mean, it's not real. It's never been real.
Same side of two sides of the same coin.
We've all been involved on both sides, and at the same time, that Cain and Abel and the original sin and all of that is really unbelievable. People just can't think that way. They won't let themselves, like you said about the cabal. One thing I wanted to say is there's a real champion and a hero, and the fact that she's alive is amazing. Kathy O'Brien. She was the original person who whistle blew on MK Ultra, and that was with Robert Byrd and Bush and Cheney. She wrote a book called Transformation. She has a website, but she also wrote a book on healing from PTSD. And he has a blog this morning, and it was all about asking yourself the questions and writing down your answers, which is really good, because when you use your brain and you write with a pencil or pen, there's a form of like logic and really like reasoning that comes no matter what.
Yeah.
And she was saying, how, like, because she said from the beginning, because she was involved, she was an MK Ultra victim, a real one, for many, many years, in the worst way, the satanic, the whole deal. And she said that from the very beginning, she knew that the mask was a control mechanism. And what they were doing was instilling in us the same fear that they instill in those little kids, the fear of death.
And subordination, subliminally, the messages and the symbologies that shut your mouth and be in fear.
Exactly.
And incite that fear porn. So, when
she's a real hero. Yeah. I mean, and I have to say that I was told, we shall see, but that the military and Pentagon already know that the whole coronavirus thing has been a crime, a scam, a crime against
bioweapon against crime against humanity.
Yeah, for the end of being the Great Reset, the One World Order. They lost their way. You know, it was Agenda 21, then Trump won, then it became Agenda 30. Get rid of Trump, we'll reinstill. Kicked in this, but you know, even yesterday, right after Biden wins, I guess. Who comes out and says the PCR test gives fake positives? Yeah, we knew that months ago. Yet we're all locked down. Then the mayor of Chicago comes out. They're going to open in restaurant dining immediately. You know, then somebody else comes out. I'm sure Cuomo in the next few days is going to come out. We're going to open it immediately. So
these discrepancies are only showing them up. So I think this has been done on purpose to show the inconsistency and the hypocrisy, because they're the ones that were, you know, asking for all of this, the closing and the wearing the masks and the PCR tests, etc. And that's 6 feet
distance. A lot of this had to do with us not being able to communicate ideas that they didn't want communicated, and also on top of that, even is the people will turn around. She had a good point this morning, Kathy. People will turn around and say, well, I know somebody who died of da-da-da. Well,
I know.
Sure, because the truth is the death rate of 2020 is almost identical to the death rate internationally, but in every country, of 2019 and 2018 and 2017. I mean, the numbers haven't changed, and it was some kind of global pandemic, and there's no flu. People that should be a wake-up call.
Well, it's cured cancer, COVID has.
I know. That's not great. We all it was COVID.
And heart disease and diabetes and all these other things.
And the worst part is most people don't know that somehow that it's really SARS, a different level of SARS, the SARS virus that was created in China, obviously. The whole mask thing was created by communist China, but it's really SARS. What COVID stands for is certification of vaccination identification. Yep. That's not an illness. That's a vaccination plan. So all this time we're going around calling it COVID. COVID is a vaccination plan so that every person on this planet gets an ID, a COVID ID, but really it's an ID. So
people find it hard to fathom this, Mel. They can't actually in their head decipher that this is real. Like, this is happening. This is just only happens in the movies, and this is what the predictive programming has done. And watching all these programs, it's just made it seem so like a conspiracy theory. But they've got us in every way. And for us that have removed ourselves from that and actually can see, holy crap, we were close to being in those FEMA camps.
Right.
We have been so close.
Very close. When I saw Merkel, who's done anyway, but when I saw Merkel talk about that and Cuomo and, that's part of the plan. They're following the CCP plan. There's concentration camps run by robots in China. And everyone that's on their dime, Hollywood, our politicians, our military, they pretend it's not true. And had we gone into Germany maybe 5 years prior, because our government knew, we could have saved a lot of lives. But we're letting this continue out there while all of my entertainment, sports, government, whatever, are in cahoots with them. And, you just got to, like Charlie says a lot, you got to reconfigure your moral compass and really make choices. Because going forward, I don't really want people in my life that can't decipher fact from fiction. And
you just read my mind. I was thinking the exact same thing. It was the exact same thought. We're in sync. That's exactly what I was just thinking. I don't want these people. I've had to actually say to people that I placed a bet with a friend saying that Trump will be the next president.
Right.
And then around sort of December, when we got the comms saying that actually this could potentially happen, that Biden can be sworn in, but then General Flynn will take over, and then the Insurrection Act will come in. So we knew about this about 4 weeks before. So I relayed that as a possibility. So, oh my God, you QAnon, 1 minute is this, 1 minute is that. I can see their point, because a lot of people have aligned and assigned themselves to timelines, which is something I say, don't do that, because we don't know. Expect the unexpected.
Right.
After this, we should be saying expect the unexpected. We know this. We know the plot, but we just don't know which way it's going to play out.
Right.
So I don't really kind of, say, oh, this is going to happen. Or, I mean, the 10 days of darkness, we've been saying that since May, right? I mean, it's bloody been 10 days of darkness already. We've been in so much this week, right? So,
like I told you earlier, I believe that those things we thought were dates, 11-3, 11-4, 11-6, are really for the occupation, that's out of the law war manual, that's what that is. We'll see. But let's see. That's how you kick into continuity of government. And, it's so funny you say that, because I feel the same way, where it's like, okay, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I almost thought I'm going to take some days off and not keep going. But then I thought, why? Why? This is the old thinking. This is the old fear. I honestly went to, I've been living, I got not depressed, but I'm in New York City. So you're not going outside. Yeah. There's not nature here. So I got really not depressed, but like bogged down. And I finally rejoined the gym. I walked in there. I felt like, oh my God. I was like, I don't care if you have to wear a mask. I'll go somewhere they can't see me and take it off. But I have to tell you, I was like, I'm taking my life back. I'm going back to the gym. I'm getting my hair cut and colored. All these things that I put aside.
I'm so lucky right now. We can't do anything.
Because of COVID, because of what I believe now was an excuse to do mail-in voting, and also to usher in the financial global reset that the cabal wanted. Well, exactly. Trump and the team took their plans, I feel like, and turned them upside down, just like they do with everything else. And I'm still fully sure that God won already and will continue to reveal himself at the time that is right.
Yeah, exactly. And everything's happening in divine timing.
Right.
And I know you've got to go in a bit, but just before you go, I had a thought. I'm thinking, you're just saying that, at the other end of this, we're not sure if we actually want that kind of energy in our life with certain people that have shown us after like 10 months of actually saying, hey, listen to us, come on, be open to it. And they're now completely even more shut down. It seems like it's got even worse.
Right.
So I'm like, this is going to play havoc on the sort of dating industry. We need to set up a dating site.
I know.
Awakened woman and man, the awakened Q supporter.
We do, but you know what? Best case scenario, it's the beginning of a lot more people waking up, because there's certain things that are going to be revealed that can't be put back in the bottle. I did see that there's going to be some reveals about 9/11 coming up, which I think will really open some people's eyes. And I believe that we will see justice. We will see justice.
Definitely. I definitely believe that this is all happening in divine timing. How can we possibly think that, because obviously there's two sides playing out here. So if we're like, oh yeah, mass arrests are going to happen, don't you think the other side's going to be prepared? It's not going to work like that. So however many memes, they can be for our own purpose to actually say, right, okay, this is a possibility and we're moving in the right direction. Let's not assign ourselves to those timelines.
Well, that's all we've done. That's all the board's been. And,
I'll be honest, I did hope there was going to be an arrest and Obama, you're there, you bad man.
Oh my God. My heart's pounding like, please let it, but I knew it wasn't true, but it was a nice.
Something's going to happen. Helicopters are going to come in. We relived. Guess what we did? Yeah. We still, so this is the point I made earlier, the remnants of the constructs, that fantastical cabal constructed mindset. It's just going to happen. It's just going to be like that movie, it's going to just have the darkest before dawn. And this is the art of war. We're just not going to know their moves to its entirety. And just on a closing note, we must take comfort in the way Melania and Trump conducted themselves in their farewell speeches. That didn't look like people that were sad that they were going or that they lost. They were dignified, they were classy, and Trump had that smirk on his face. And I was just like, we've set the foundation for the next administration. It's all good. It's all good. And
it's going to be the first administration.
Yeah, we'll be back soon. Like he almost said it. We'll be back soon.
Restored Republic of America 2.0 revolution. It's time. And we know that's the bottom line. We know about their crimes. We have the facts. We have the evidence. Even you and me do. All you have to do is go to, like, Corey Diggs has a great site, but you can just go to FBIvault.gov and any of this stuff, and even WikiLeaks. You can find they have everything. Okay, they have everything. and they're doing it in their timing. There is a danger. The other side is against the wall, and they have a
I want
lot.
to ask one question, actually. This is a really important one. Did you hear about Trump pardoning Lil Wayne?
Yeah.
And then obviously so this is really important, actually, because so many people lost hope after that. They're like, that's it, mark of the beast. Trump has pardoned Lil Wayne, and because there's some nasty videos going around about Lil Wayne talking about like raping children and stuff. It's really bad. And then they're like, how can Trump pardon a known pedophile? And I didn't have an answer for this because I actually didn't even.
I don't know that he is a known pedophile because I never heard that. So
I saw a video. I saw a video myself.
Actual with the child?
No, he was talking about himself. It was quite vulgar. Look, you know.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it was quite bad. But just there was that. So again, there's confusion.
Well, maybe he maybe there was a decision that he would testify against them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I believe that
there's a lot of agreements that have been made, haven't they? So we have to look at it with those lenses.
Him and Lil Wayne have talked before. There's a very good chance that Lil Wayne has told him stuff.
Yes.
Don't know about it yet. That would be my suggestion, because that's how I feel about Kanye's told him stuff. I also, you know, I know Isaac Cappy, and I know that they told, you know, what happened to all those guys. I hope they're still alive, some of them.
I think Isaac Cappy's alive. I definitely think he's alive.
I also hope, and I have a good feeling that Bourdain is too. But these guys gave information that they would have died. And so when I saw the letting of the two of them go, it was him and another rapper. I have a feeling, because it's very bad in that industry, the satanic ritual stuff. I have a feeling they're probably working with him. As far as Assange, I believe that we do not know anything about Assange. I can't listen.
It's too dangerous as well at this point.
His mother or any of them. I do not believe that. I believe that he's valuable, and I believe Trump knows he's valuable. I also don't believe he needs a pardon, because he didn't commit a crime. So we'll see with Assange, because people that I like were like, F Trump if he didn't pardon Assange and da-da-da. I think it's a little more complicated than that, but I do.
Exactly. We have to apply sort of a bit more critical thinking here.
I don't know. I've always thought that we're not hearing the truth about Assange. We're just not. I don't think. I hope not. I mean, I think he's a total hero and doesn't belong there. But I also think Trump knows he's a hero. When Trump plays dumb, that's why his silence and the way he's behaving right now must be driving crazy. It went from bash Trump to like elevate a senile, probably child, you know, that is a party to communist China, and they're on our news channels being like, "Thank God."
I know. I mean, the memes and the like videos of him, and it's like I just couldn't help but laugh. It is funny, but you know, just on a closing note, you know, and I've just said let's not have timing on anything. I think we are going into April. You know, 3rd or 4th are those next dates of, you know, obviously Trump was sworn in as the 19th president,
right?
And that's all the sort of talk now. I just say let's ride the rainbow wave.
Right.
Let's work on ourselves internally. Let's keep this together, this organized, and this, you know, calibrated all the time. Let's just realign our chakras, because I think one's gone to, like, you know, Honolulu and one's gone to Japan. Yeah, we need to, you know, it's gone all a little bit crazy. So we just need to realign, refocus, and work within. I mean, here we've got the, you know, lockdown till April. I think, I just don't know. I'm finding it hard. I'm finding it really hard in this winter.
It's ridiculous. So, I'm telling you, I did hear from somebody I really do trust that the international militaries that have been working together with the alliance this whole time, that they know that it was basically a SARS level, but not deadly. It's not deadly. The whole point was to make us take these vaccines. And that's the thing. And I know people are saying that Trump's pushing a vaccine. Well, let's see what that's really about, because I don't believe it. Also because he's spoken out about it many times, and I know he's very he trusts RFK Jr., who's also spoken out about it. So as far as the SARS and the COVID and the vaccines and everything, I say let's see what happens. But it's a miracle.
There have been some casualties, but yeah.
I know, but it's a miracle because all of a sudden Biden won, and now they're going to open up all our cities. Imagine that. Any sane, rational person has to be like, "What is this about?"
I know. I mean, but you're still getting this.
We do so much.
Stay on the line when we stop recording. But Mel, until next week, I'm sure we'll have loads to say. I love you.
I love you so much. I think about you a lot.
Stop recording.
And I cheer you on.
Okay, stop recording because I want to ask you something.
Oh.
So I've stopped.